Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Championship Leadership Podcast. And today we are excited. We have Karen Briscoe from the DMV. And no, that is not the Department of Motor Vehicles. That is from the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. She is a mega agent, team of 3 producing over 100 million in production, which is incredible. Also the creator and author of the 5-Minute Success series. And concepts, excuse me. So I'm excited to have you here. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and world to be here. Thank you, Karen.
Oh, absolutely, Nate. Anytime we can talk about championship and leadership all in one place, I'm in.
That's right. That's right. So let's do that. And what does championship leadership mean to you when you hear it?
So I'm kind of nerdy. I did the whole look it up and and because I really wanted to think about it. Yeah, I'm a preparation person. So championship, according to the dictionary that I pulled out that really resonates for me, is a high level of competition.
Yes.
And I also look at that as performance. Yep. Competition could be, totally. With yourself, right? So like, yep. I remember when our children were in the swim team and it was, highest and best, you were always trying to improve your personal best. And so the competition can be with yourself. And then leadership is defined as the art of moving a group of people to act towards a common goal. So there could be the organic, natural leadership where people, they rise to the occasion. They may not have the title, but they exhibit the traits of someone who can help groups of people move towards their goal. And so championship leadership is doing that at a high level. Mm-hmm. And that really resonates with me. And I also, I have discovered that leading others really starts first with leading myself, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So, the rising tide raises all boats. As I rise as a leader in my level of championship and performance, then other people around me, it becomes more natural and organic. Yeah. And so I really love this question, and I love the title of your podcast because it really did help me to discern what that meant to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love it. You are the very first one to come prepared with the dictionary open and ready to roll. Like, I love the preparation and the homework that you did ahead of time. And it's always fun because I always get a different answer no matter what, which is pretty incredible with all the amazing people like yourself that I've had the honor of having on this show. So thank you.
Well, it's I think that people's different definitions come from their autobiographical nature of themselves. And I find that to be what's so interesting about being a podcaster, right? Yeah. Because you're basically asking the same questions, but different people view it and respond to it differently. So that's what makes the conversations more interesting. If everybody said the same thing, it would
be boring, right?
Totally. Yes.
Yeah. So, well, let's hear more about you and your story and how you became the mega agent that you are today, and the creator and author of the 5-Minute Success series. I imagine it didn't start out like that day one, or did it?
Oh no, it's definitely a journey, success journey, right? With a lot of opportunities along the way to learn, grow, and become better than before. I was the primary person for raising our children. My husband's career in DC required a lot of travel, and I'm glad and blessed that I was able to do that. At the same time, it wasn't really my gig. I felt like I was a business person at heart. I'd done commercial real estate before getting married, and so re-entered the commercial real estate space in 2001 when our children were reaching an age where I felt like they didn't need me anymore. They were in middle school years. Why I thought that was really recognized that I was missing a few aspects to child rearing or parenting. Yeah. So I went to work for Nextel, and I had the sales and engineering warehouse client customer base. And that, to me, very quickly, I found to be extremely boring. I was like, well, once you've done one sales and engineering warehouse office at Nixdale, they all look alike. Yeah. And the attorneys did all the negotiating. And so when the dot-com bust happened, I had an opportunity to look around. That's why I said this journey is, there was as many valleys as there were peaks, but the valleys were very great opportunities to learn and grow. And someone said, well, why don't you do residential? And I have to say that the commercial residential people don't usually mix, but what I found is on the residential side, the commercial side is very what they call the hard side. It's negotiations, it's market knowledge, it's strategy. And the soft side are the relationships. They're the people, and helping people through transition and moving is one of the highest cases on the stressometer is what I call it. Almost a lot of life events involve moving that are also stressful. Death and divorce are the top two that we see. But we have other life events like diapers, right? Well, that's right. Positive and stressful at the same time, right? Having children. Yeah. Downsizing is stressful. I mean, we've got a silver tsunami of people that are reaching the mature levels of over 50. 10,000 people a day turn 65 in the United States. So I found that being in relationship with people while at the same time having these strong hard skills, I became successful really fast. And that's a good thing, right? And success when oftentimes other people, when they recognize that a rising star, then they want to go into business with them. And so one of the top agents in the Northern Virginia area, she was number 10 in the nation at the time, asked me to join her as a junior partner. And then sadly, she passed away in 2008. Well, she passed away the same month the financial markets crashed. Oh, yeah. Wow. Right. And it was a very challenging time. It was a very challenging time. A lot of people left the business, right? Yeah. But at the same time, losing my business partner and rebuilding a business was definitely high on the challenge. So I set about to rebuild, and in the next year, Lizzie Conroy joined me as a business partner, and she's demographically the next generation down, which is great for succession planning, right? Yeah. And having a partner to work with, I really resonates with me. I perform better in partnership. And so over the next few years, we set about, recovering, the market recovered, and our business started to grow. And again, kind of success leaves clues. People kept saying, well, how did you do it? Yeah, of course. Right. Because nobody else had done that, right? Had made that kind of transition in such a challenging time. And so I started doing coaching and training and mentoring, and I use stories. And I call them sticky because they're more memorable with a story. I mean, if you think about it, if you read or if you have a training that's very information heavy, then it can be kind of dry and boring, right? Yeah, absolutely. And an inspirational type training or reading can be a little fluffy, but maybe not have enough substance. So I would use both. I would combine the substance with the story that would make it get sticky and memorable. And I say like peanut butter and chocolate, right? So it's better together. Yeah. And people remembered them. And that's really a key aspect to training and coaching and reading, is if you don't remember it when you need it, I mean, recall when you can use the concept is one of the most important things. And so that led to me having a voice in the marketplace. I started writing a blog in 2009, which blogs really were very new, cutting edge in 2009. Yeah. And the blog started really gaining a lot of attention, which then led to people saying that I should write a book. And there are lots of real estate books, and there's a lot of books, period, self-help books, instructional books, motivational books. I wanted to do something different. And back to the people that I was coaching and training, what I heard over and over again is they felt like they never had enough time. Yes. Yeah. And I said, well, do you have 5 minutes a day? And everybody said they had 5 minutes a day. So that's what would birth the idea of the 5 minutes a day concept. Okay.
Great.
And now that it's several years old, I've recognized the power in the starting small and building up, and how that can have such an impact.
Yeah. Yeah, that's incredible. Thank you. Thank you. That's a powerful story. And you're so right. Yeah, stories are, stories, if told well, are really impactful. And that's what really draws people in. And that's where I think a lot of things can be really learned. So thank you for that. And who are some of the people inside of your life that have really, leaders, coaches, mentors, that you've learned from directly or indirectly, and really more importantly, like, what are some of the things that you've taken from each one of those to help kind of mold you into who you are, the leader you are in your industry, in the path that you're on today?
Well, when I set out to write the book, I first of all had a limiting belief, which I think we're going to talk about in a minute, so I'll save that story. But I started reaching out to people I knew who had written books, because one of the tenets of my success is success leaves clues. Other people have done this before. I really want to learn what they have to share. And I reached out to Pat Hyman, who has Real Estate Rockstars podcast. And I was talking with him about his book and his process. And he said, when I told him my idea, he said, "You've got to talk to Hal Elrod." And I'm like, "Who's Hal Elrod?"
Yeah.
And Hal Elrod is the author and creator of The Miracle Morning.
Yep. Right.
And I set about to try to meet Hal Elrod. Well, that wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. Yeah, because he's kind of a bigwig.
Yeah.
So it turned out that somebody was going to be a Cutco. He's a former Cutco salesperson. One of the local Cutco reps was going to be having him in town, but it was the weekend I was going to be gone to a family wedding. And I'm like, okay. But then he was going to be speaking a little ways away, but still within driving distance the day I got back. So I committed to, Miracle Morning, get up really early and be the first one there.
Awesome.
And I was, and I immediately went to Hal and I said, I'm Karen Briscoe. Pat Hyman suggested I get to know you. And I told him about my book idea, and he immediately hugged me and he said, "Yeah, of course I'll endorse your book." And I'm like, wow, that was easy. It's not usually that easy, but this
all you got to do is ask, right?
Yeah. I was just like blown away. And so I had the opportunity to autograph books with him, and it was really amazing experience. Well, then afterwards he texts me and he goes, "And you're going to come to the Best Year Ever Blueprint in San Diego in December." This was in October. And I'm like, December? I mean, it's, as many people say, all right, I don't have time to do that. Then I immediately shifted my thinking. I was like, this man didn't even stop to think whether he had time to help me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And I also became way more interested in Miracle Morning. I read all his books. I started kind of being a groupie. And the whole idea of the Miracle Morning is, are you familiar with Hal Elrod, The Miracle Morning?
I am, yeah.
Yes. So the idea is to start your day. And that was well, and then the rest of the day will go better. And they're the principles of that have been taught through ages, but he set it up in an acronym so that it's easy to remember. So it's the SAVERS. So S is for silence or meditation, A is for affirmations, V is for visualization, E is for exercise, R is for reading, and then S is for scribing or journaling. And in endorsing my book as part of the reading component, because Real Estate Success in 5 Minutes a Day is designed to be read every day, and he had the Miracle Morning for real estate agents. So it was a great, really huge endorsement, and it really made a huge impact.
Yeah.
And then I was at Best Year Ever Blueprint 3 years ago. I'm about ready to leave for the fourth one. And he and John Berghoff, his business partner, said, "And we have this Quantum Leap Mastermind." And I just was like, I'm supposed to do this. Yeah. So I jumped right in, used the same level of enthusiasm he did with me, and it's just changed everything. So I would say in the last few years, more impact from Hal Elrod in that community. And that goes back to the personal development, actually. business development, I certainly be happy to talk with you about where the mentors on that.
Yeah.
But what really has made the most impact is focusing on personal development.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for that story. That's, not only, it's incredible. So many people could have stopped at any point along the way
Yes.
and not made it like you did as far as that journey goes, and meeting him and then listening and going to the event. And even though it's in December and then there's a mastermind and, just listening really, I think to your gut or whatever it was, that voice inside was being like, yes, you got to do this. You need to do this. And that's, success leaves clues. That's how successful people do it.
I felt like there was a reason why I met Hal Elrod, and that's something that Hal says. One of his affirmations are, everything happens for a reason and I get to choose the reason.
Yeah.
So I chose the reason,
yeah,
being that I was to be in community and relationship with him. And now I'm very close to him. I was one of the keynote speakers in 2018 at the Best Year Ever Blueprint. I mean, just things have just changed my life dramatically. But at first it was the reaching out and taking some effort, persistence to actually connect. But then once I did, to just go all in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. When did you start the podcast? You have a podcast of your own, and what led you down that path?
So, as often happens, writing a book, Real Estate Success in 5 Minutes a Day, I started being a guest on other people's podcasts. And I saw the trajectory of book sales actually correlated really nicely. And I'm like, oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And I'm in sales. So I was like, that's fascinating. If I had a podcast, I could then have amazing conversations with people at the same time, would increase the sales potential. And my book, the book idea already had a format, if you will. So I was like, this is really incredible. It's like built in already a format for a podcast. And so it launched in October of 2017 and is now over 200 plus episodes, over 100,000 downloads. So it's taken on, but I like to say my book asked for the podcast for its birthday, because the book is because the podcast is because there is a book, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's incredible too as well. And what's the big vision for you? Like, where are you headed? I think championship leaders, they have incredible vision, and they're like, just what you've been talking about the whole way is they're willing to execute on that vision as well. So, mega agents, you got the 5 Minute Success Series podcast, and everything is moving in the right direction. Like, what do you really want to accomplish with where you're headed and what you're doing?
So this came out of the Best Year Ever Blueprint TEDx talk I gave, keynote talk I gave in December 2018. And that is the idea of time. So I hear from many people and successful people that there's not enough time. Mm-hmm. And so I did a talk about a flipping time. So Lazu said, time is a created thing. To say I don't have time is like saying I don't want to.
Yes.
So I've, drilling down to why you don't want to. So why aren't you doing what you say you want to do? Because time is the same for everybody. Yeah. And there are some people that accomplish a lot of things, and they accomplish what they say they want to do. I listened to the gentleman who's the Navy SEAL, and I'm like going, wow. I mean, so clearly it's the possibility is there. So what is it that stops people? So what I have found is that many people, they reach a level of success and then they look around and go, what's left? And I have found that I think a lot of people, it's because they're working their way up Maslow's hierarchy of needs pyramid, right? So they're focusing on their physical needs, and then they focus on the safety needs, and then they focus on relationship needs, and then esteem needs, and then they do self-actualization. So the idea of flipping time is to flip the pyramid and do self-actualization first. And this has many potential impacts. One is you're probably going to be happier because you're going to be doing what you're called to be doing.
Right.
I don't know if you're familiar with the hero's journey, the heroine's journey in the Joseph Campbell. And it's from mythology and just from a lot of movies. This idea is we're all in this journey, right? We're all in this called adventure, call to contribution, call to creativity. But many times we don't listen to that and we go do something else or what other people think that we should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that's where this regret later in life or, wish she'd taken a different path. So the idea of flipping it and putting it first. And what I found is it has the potential of having several different types of impact. One is back to you're going to be happier, more fulfilled, more productive if you're doing what you're called to do. So you will then be creating a positive impact on the people around you.
Yeah.
It could be like a ripple effect, like the throwing the pebble in the pond, it could ripple out. It could be a snowball. It could build on itself. It could also be a domino where you just knock over one and everything else starts to fall into place. So my mission in life going forward is back to the personal development is actually business development and success is going to follow people who are investing in themselves. Mm-hmm. And so that's my mission is help people see how they can do that and how it's not really about time.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you. It's an incredible vision and purpose to have and I love the flipping the hierarchy on its head, right? And that's an interesting concept. I never thought about it that way. So
yeah, because a lot of people talk about time management and work-life balance, and I'm like, yeah, throw all that out. Just flip it.
Yeah, that's it. Saying that you don't have time is the same thing as saying that you just don't want to. I love that. Yeah, that's incredible. So, what's a key moment for you inside of your life? I always love asking this question, like a defining moment where. Because there's so much that we can learn from these points in our life, critical decisions that we've had that could have had you, being a completely different place inside of your life, but yet you're able to make the decision that you did in that moment that has you where you are today. Is there one moment that really sticks out to you?
Absolutely. It was epiphany that I even had witnesses. Yeah. So I was in a coaching program because I had reached that point in my business. I was like, okay, I'm successful, but now what? And I was in this coaching program and we were on a retreat and we were supposed to share with the group what it was that was stopping us from doing what we said we wanted to do. And it was fascinating listening to your interview with the Navy SEAL, and he was saying, well, it's excuses. And I had all the excuses. Mostly they were time and money related. And I had this epiphany. Well, first of all, I'm self-employed. So the only one stopping me is me. And that became really empowering because I realized I could change me.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the market to change, the people around me to change, the circumstances to change. And I was like, well, okay, nothing's changed, but I'm still waiting for that. And so instead, I made the decision that I was going to do what I said I wanted to do. And that made all the difference because now whenever I have that moment, which, I still do, I just move through it. I move through the resistance faster. Yeah. The resistance was really strong then. Now I push through it quicker, but that is an ongoing epiphany. But that first moment was the defining moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you. I love it. Yeah. Just get out of your own way.
Absolutely.
And everything is possible. So thank you so much for that. What are one or two things that you can leave with the listeners as we start to wrap this up that, if they were able to take and implement today, like they could move their life forward?
Well, so back to the 5-minute success, start small and build up because that is been proven in terms of habit formation and, that it's habits is what we repeatedly do rather than willpower or trying to have enough time. And so I will say that if I can do it, you can do it too. And so start today. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Just do it. Let's go. Thank you so much. What are some ways that they can find out more about you, about your book, about your podcast, everything that you have going on today?
Well, practically everything is the number 5-minute success. So it's easy to remember. The website, the Facebook page and group, Instagram, all of those social media platforms, as well as the podcast is the number 5-minute success. And then the books are all available on Amazon. Real Estate Success in 5 Minutes a Day, Commit to Get Leads, 66-Day Challenge, as well as Flip Time, Love Life. And if you want bulk quantities, reach out to me on the website, or really Google Karen Briscoe and you pretty much find me. And if you want to buy or sell a house in the DMV, get over that too.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much. We'll get all that linked up for sure, so it's easy to find for the listeners. And I really appreciate you being here and taking some time out of your day. Thank you.
Thank you, Nate. And here's to your success.
Thank you.